All right, here we go, dear Pisces. This one is for you. It's your September 2019 report from Tarot Lumination. It's going to be a collection of things. I'm going to share a bit of the Astrodoodle, give you some basic dates. We're going to use a Tarot Lumination Crucible spread because there's so much emphasis on relationship dynamics with the channel. So we might as well just go for it, okay? Also, we're going to have two oracles at the end. Thank you very much. Let me just check in and say hi, because I forgot to do this earlier with some people. Greetings, dear Pisces. I'm just going to give you a very gentle heads up. This could be an extremely hyper stressful month for you. It could also be very rewarding. There's reasons why. I'll show you when we come to the astrology. But there's a tremendous amount of spiritual growth and evolution that can happen through challenge, okay? You'll see in a minute. Don't go away. All right, so here we go. Let me just go to the basic information here. I'll just scroll through very quickly. If you want any heavy duty, important, detail stuff, come and check in and we'll set something up personally. But in the meantime, I'm just going to highlight the yellow things, okay? We had the new moon Virgo energy right at the very beginning of the month. It's actually the tail end of August, the 30th, 31st. But we're coming in. It's such a huge new moon. It's a very powerful one. It's a massive, it's very unbalanced because we got 5 of the personal planets all squashed into Virgo, okay? So that puts a lot of pressure on you, Pisces, over here. I'll show you in a minute. And so 2 weeks later, we have the full moon in Pisces, and that could be like an oh my gosh moment, okay, for all Pisces, not just the whole planet, but for Pisces in particular. And then you have to integrate all of that and figure out, well, what does that all mean now? Because it's going to come up to the Libra new moon at the very tippy end of the month, okay? So I'll just show you, all right? So here we go. This is kind of what it looks like for you, Pisces. Don't be scared. Okay, it's all right. This too shall pass. So over here, do you see this? This is the new moon in Virgo. The tip end of August and into the 1st of September is just a huge cluster of planets in Virgo. Okay, it's all piled up. And guess what? It's in your house of opposition, your 7th house of marriage, your 7th house of open enemies. Okay, however you want to look at it. Okay, there's nowhere to hide from this energy, Pisces. It's like it's right in your face. So it's like, please understand, it's an incredible gift. The energy of relationship. There are so many things that can only occur in terms of healing and growth and spiritual evolution only in the context of relationship, especially chosen relationships, as opposed to relationships from birth. Okay. So with this huge opposition against you, Pisces, okay, it's literally like there's Pisces, okay, there's you, Pisces, all right, being Pisces over here, and then there's all this Virgo energy over here, like right in your face, like hello, Virgo, so what's going on? And you're like, I don't know, just don't worry. You can learn from me. Oh gosh. So anyway, look, the Virgo energy opposes you here in your 7th house, but it's very harmoniously supported by the Capricorn and Taurus energy, which happens to be very harmonious for you. Okay, this is like a big free floating, loose, wobbly, grand earth trine. So if you look at it this way, see this big green thing here? As scary as this might be, this is very supportive. So it's very extreme, okay? Now, you've probably noticed that there's a big red triangle here as well, okay? So, yeah, let's just say that's a little bit awkward, to say the least. This is what they call a T-square. It's typically a very painful, very uncomfortable type of alignment in terms of sacred geometry. And you can see the pivot point is over here in Sagittarius, which is all to do with your career, your destiny, your sense of mission and purpose here in this world. So for you, Pisces, Sagittarius rules your 10th house of destiny. So it's like you have to be very Sagittarian when it comes to your like being front and center stage in this world, all the accolades that you deserve, all the incredible work that you've had to do over years and years to get to be who you are, to get to be recognized, understood, and appreciated, and valued and rewarded. Okay. Sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it's not pretty. Okay. So Sagittarius, Jupiter is here right now, okay, and it's gone direct again. So you might feel a bit of relief, like, oh my gosh, at least my destiny is starting to move again. But it's under a lot of pressure because you've got Neptune and Pisces here sitting right on top of you anyway. That's hard enough to deal with. I mean, it's hard enough sometimes to be a Pisces as it is because you're ruled by Neptune. It's just like the magic, the illusion, the divinity of it all. And then the flip side is like the shadow, like you know how the Pisces energy can turn into, self-destruction, self-sabotage, addictions, uh, enablement, being enabled, being an enabler. It's just like it becomes like the worst of the worst, becoming very, very sick. It's like very, very sickly energy. And the Pisces Virgo axis is very much to do with health and healing anyway. So Pisces, please understand that you're going to get slammed from here, all right? It's going to shift and change towards the end of the month, okay? Halfway through the month, you're going to come to the full moon, okay, in Pisces. So moon conjunct Pisces, that's super spiritual, super dreamy, and it might be very disorienting for you, okay, when you've got all of this being opposed by this, and you're right in that, let's say, you're in the headlights, so to speak. Now, this will soften up towards the end of the month. Okay, so please understand, start off right here in full maximum opposition. And then you get to full awareness over here like, OMG, what just happened? And now you have 2 more weeks to integrate that and figure it out. Well, what does this actually mean for me in my life? Because it's going to come to the new moon in Libra here at the end of the month. And that's in your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, deep, deep psychic spiritual connections between yourself and another at the deep, profound soul level. Only you will be able to describe what that actually means, okay? So this is kind of an epic journey, okay? It's stressful. The stress is heavily supported by very comforting, very solid, foundational energy over here, but at the same time, all month long, you've got this loose T-square hovering around, okay? So it's a combination. You might be really feeling like you're being pulled and stretched, pressured this way and stretched this way, intense pressure this way, intense like pulling this way, like kneading dough, like roar, 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 roar. But you will grow from this, all right, Pisces? Let's keep going. I'm just going to go straight to the cards now. Did I say hello already? Hold on, let me just do this again. Hello, Pisces. I'm helping as much as I can, okay? This too shall pass, okay? This is just 1 month tarot reading from Tarot Lumination. And you know Tarot Lumination isn't actually really a tarot channel, but it's okay. We keep going anyway. All right, so Pisces, we're going to use the Tarot Lumination Crucible spread. Some of you know what that is already if you're new here. A crucible is a bowl-type structure that's designed to withstand intense alchemical pressures that happens in laboratories, which is just the same thing that happens in human relationships. I use this Tarot Lumination Crucible spread on the understanding that there's you, Pisces. There's a significant other or certain significant others, very amplified in this month, okay? And then there's this thing that you own called a relationship. So there's you, there's the other, and then there's the relationship itself, which has its own life, purpose, mission, identity, purpose, and so on. You'll see in just a moment. And it's in the crucible where we intimate and separate, just like all of us. And there are certain types of growth and healing and spiritual evolution that can only occur in the context of relationship, especially intimate, chosen relationships, like a deep friend, like a spouse, like a loved one, a lover, for better or worse. Okay. Sometimes we have intense relationships that are very toxic, very, very painful. Sometimes we have intense relationships that are very rewarding, satisfying, magical, beautiful. Okay, it's all possible here, Pisces. You're going to literally be squished and pressured like a pressure cooker, and then you're going to be ripped and pulled apart as well simultaneously. You might feel it as an ebb and flow through the whole month. All right, give me a second here. I'm going to pull two oracles at the end, by the way. I think I told you that, didn't I? Give me a second. I need to feel that the deck is absolutely pristine. It was already pre-shuffled in advance, but I have to go to the last second. No jumpers, no reversals, no flyers. Sorry about that. I like to keep it very simple, as stripped down, bare bones as possible to get the job done. Bless you, Pisces. Bless Terra Illumination. Bless the deck. Bless every single card. Bless the electricity and the cameras that are all brand new because they all exploded. And now we're starting from scratch again. Here is you, Pisces. What are you radiating? Think of yourself like a smartphone, okay? Energy out, energy in, okay? What about a significant other over here? What about deep inside of you? What about deep inside of the other? What about the core of the relationship itself over here? Can you see this crucible? This is the crucible. This is the structure. You see that? Got it? This is the bowl in which the relationship is conducted. This could be multiple relationships. It could be a specific one. Hopefully this will resonate with you. And this is a living theme. What is the nature here? Okay, you guys own this, whether you like it or know it or not. Is this flexible? Is it too rigid? Is it leaking? Is it got strong, solid foundations? Is it being well managed, like a business? What is being fostered here, okay? And surrounding all of this, just like a potted plant, is weather. That could be your circumstances, your environment. I think of it perhaps as the planets. So let's get started. Let's put you guys over here, okay? Right over here. This is you, Pisces. This is the significant others, okay? There's so much more that we could do here at Terra Illumination with spreads, but we can't just do readings forever, okay? Let's have a look at the weather. So you have the 10 of Wands. Let's just admit you're going to be under a lot of pressure, okay, Pisces, whether you like it or know it or not. It's so easy for you, Pisces, to go into a state of like denial or, let's say, an alternative reality in order to avoid these kind of pressures. And that's one of the beauties of Pisces, but it's also can be your undoing as well. So you have to be very, very careful. Let's just say this is probably the time of year in 2019 when you're going to be under the most pressure for the whole year, the maximum amount of pressure, okay? You're going to keep going, all right? It's just that it's under duress. You might be literally feeling like you're getting crushed, okay? But think of that, think of the way diamonds are created now, industrial diamonds. They take raw carbon powder and they crush it and they crush it and they crush it. And guess what comes out? A diamond. Okay. So let's have a look. What are you radiating here? The sun. Okay, Pisces, with the sun energy, it's almost like you're bulletproof. So my feeling is that if you're hanging out here with Terra Illumination and you've done a huge amount of work on yourself, whatever it might be, self-realization practices, yoga, self-healing, deep study, know thyself to the point where you are, let's say, at your maximum potential to be the most awesome Piscean person that you are, and you are radiating love and light, harmony and beauty at the highest frequencies possible. This is almost so blinding that you can't look at it, literally like the energy of the sun. And so in some ways that's beautiful, but it's also a bit of a problem because this is so much energy to handle. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this for a moment. Hold on. Okay, so you've got Neptune in Pisces right here. That's your ruling planet. And in the middle of the month, you're going to have the moon there. So this is going to really amplify things to the very best and the very worst of Pisces. Like you could see the shadow self and you could almost freak out at your own amazing awesomeness when you look in the mirror. And it's terrifying. Like, oh my God, am I really this creature of light? Am I truly this divine being of light above and beyond just being a human being? I'm a creation of from heaven. I'm literally like an ambassador of heaven. Okay, that's how I'm looking at this, and that's a very daunting energy, and it could literally freak you out. It could, to me, this could looks like you could be freaked out by your own light, your own splendor, your own magnificence, to the point like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Because you have all of this, and you might be sensing this in the opposition later over here, being reflected back to you. It's almost like the Virgo energy is so pure, it's so pristine, it's not judgmental, and it's reflecting back to you. Just you know how they when people do those funny little games with mirrors, like you're going on a hike and there's somebody, a mile away on another ridge, and you've got your watch, and you kind of go, oh my God, I need to signal my friend. We made this deal. We're going to signal each other with watches at exactly noon. So you get your watch and you shine it at the sun and reflect it, and you steer it over to your buddy, and you know they're going to be at that other place. Okay. And they're over there doing that to you. They're taking their watch, and the sunlight is shining on to there, and it's reflected back to you. So you are the sunlight, and then the sunlight hits their watch and it reflects back to you, and it's almost blowing your eyes out because it's so bright. It's just like, whoa, wait a minute. Like literally when you stare at the sun, you can't really do it. It blows your eyes out within a fraction of a second. So, of course, you don't do it. So, I think that's what's happening here, Pisces. You're getting momentary, random glimpses of your own light coming back to you, and you're seeing all the beauty and awesomeness of your own light, but the sheer terror of all that light as well. Okay, what are you going to do with that? It's a huge responsibility. All right, so what about the other? So, with the Three of Swords here, my feeling is that uh, please don't see this as like a breakup in relationships and things like that. Yes, it's a very painful card to look at for a lot of people. Remember, it's not a cups card. This is actually swords. So this is very much to do with fear in the mind, fear of treachery, betrayal, loss, lies, deception, tragic senses of loss. Okay, and remember, that's not you, Pisces. This is someone else over here. So, for you, Pisces, if you're dealing with someone, a particular someone, or perhaps several particular someones who are going through some very tragic, painful situations, circumstances, experiences of their own, it might not even include you, but if it does include you, it might have some of the ingredients of treachery, lies, betrayal, and deception, okay? Like the very worst things that could possibly happen in a relationship. Now, guess what? Okay, this is where it's going to hurt, Pisces. Okay, uh, and we're going to come back to the energy of mirrors in relationship. One of the most important and valuable components of a relationship is the mirror dynamic. Okay, so look at it this way. Okay, we talked about that like watch and the sunlight dazzling you and seeing your own light. Okay, fine. So now let's go over back to here again with the new moon in Virgo energy, and this is having a huge impact for the whole month, and then it'll come to a crescendo in the middle, and then it'll come to the new moon in Libra. So for a lot of the month, you might be going through these like blinding moments, and then you have to start to realize, oh my gosh, oh no. I see the full extent of what Tarot Illumination is talking about. This could actually represent your own energy coming back to you about anything and everything to do with treachery, lies, betrayal, deception. And you might be seeing like the very best of yourself, okay, and the very worst of yourself being reflected back to you, okay? So you're already radiating this because you've got Neptune on your side, and you're just being this anyway. But when this is over here, the way I'm feeling this is that it's almost shock, like horrors. Like you start to realize, like you're taking all the filters off. Pisces, it's so easy for you to slip into a world of fantasy, illusion, and uh, self-deception, not intentionally. It's just very, very Neptunian energy. That Neptune energy is extremely hard to handle and understand for anybody, uh, even including native Pisceans. Okay, so my feeling here is that You have to allow for the laws of mirroring that happens in relationship. So if you are seeing someone reflected back to you who carries this kind of energy, and maybe they are in deep pain and suffering, you have to understand that you are a participant. You are part of the equation in some way, shape, or form, in perhaps very painful ways to the other. I mean, this is going to sound brutal, but you could actually be the cause of this, okay? And they could be the cause of their own self undoing, and that could be very tragic for you to witness this. So if they are, let's say, misbehaving or exhibiting like the very worst things that could possibly happen in relationship, then let it be so, because we can learn so much from this. So this is a very extreme reading. As we intimate and separate, you get the full-on energy of reflection with that first house, seventh house opposition, the maximum energy of reflection. It's like this, okay? There's nowhere to hide. You are getting an absolute 180-degree reflection of you from another, okay? I'm going to show it like this, but really, in terms of the mirror, it's like this, okay? I hope this makes sense to you. Deep down inside of you, okay, so as beautiful as this energy is, and having so much, I mean, like if you're like super, super evolved, then all that Virgo energy over there in your seventh house areas could be really like magnificent for you. But the chances are, statistically, it's so unlikely because you would have to be literally like a saint or some kind of archangel incarnated to be able to handle that degree of opposition and pressure. So my feeling is deep down at the soul level, what you're discovering is kind of a very sad, almost tragic, disappointing level feeling inside of you of like all the beauty of what it's like to be Pisces, but also the tragedy of what it's like to suffer the, let's say, the flip side of Neptunian energy, where not everything is as it appears. It becomes an optical illusion. And that's sad. And you get to the point where deep down inside of you, like, what have I missed? What have I done? What have I lost? What am I losing? Where did this all go? Well, what is dissolving around me? Okay, remember, Neptune dissolves, okay? It dissolves everything it touches. So it's almost like fog. Like you think, oh, I'm going to capture that beautiful dream. I'm going to do this amazing thing. You try to capture it, and it's like, wait a minute, where did that go? And it's the same thing sometimes with relationships, okay? And so that could leave you feeling deep down like a very, in other words, what you learn and experience and witness over this month might leave you feeling, let's just say, less than, okay? And that would be normal. Frankly, if you weren't feeling that, I would be disturbed. I would be shocked because this is so much pressure, okay, on you. This is so much pressure on you. And having Neptune here and then the full moon in the middle, that's a lot of pressure on you too, okay? Now, you do have this lovely support here, but seriously, I see this as a very challenging month for you. So, I mean, forewarned is forearmed. I'm hoping this reading helps you in some way so that you don't become a victim of the pain and the suffering and the emotional senses of loss. Love is still there. You still have this light, okay? But you're under a lot of pressure, okay? And so it would be very easy and honestly, I don't blame you. It's perfectly natural to buckle under this pressure. It's not the end of the world, but it is a lot of pressure. What about the other? Let's have a look. So my feeling is that it's almost like the pressure becomes so intense that in the nature of a crucible like this, everything starts to fracture. It's literally like, when you see those time-lapse movies of huge bridges or big water dams on lakes and whatever and rivers, and everything looks fine. And then the documentary people, they go in and they say, hey, look, we've noticed a crack. okay? At the foundations of the dam, we've noticed a crack in the crucible. We noticed a crack. And think of the crucible as a huge terracotta potted plant pot, okay? And there's a tiny hairline crack. Okay, it doesn't look like much at first, but that is a very telltale sign that things are starting to fall apart. Okay, so my feeling is for you, Pisces, if things are starting to fall apart and it looks to you like it's happening outside of you or from another, like your partner or a certain very special relationship is crumbling and falling apart, and it's almost like uh, they're basically trying to get away with whatever they can and get out of this with as minimal damage to themselves and to just basically get away with whatever they can and survive and endure another day. And that might not be a very pretty story for you to hear from Tarot Illumination, but that's what I'm sensing here. They're just doing whatever they can to survive for themselves, even if it means scuttling you, scuttling the relationship, scuttling everything, self-sabotaging without even knowing it. It's amazing. It is mind-boggling how good human beings are at self-sabotage. It's just like a staggering phenomenon. Now, I think that's what's happening here. And you might be dealing with someone who literally can't cope because you're under a lot of pressure, okay? And sometimes that happens in relationships where you're just being you and they're just being them, but the very dynamics and nature. I mean, we don't know who this is. Who know whatever it is, and maybe you're going to do a cross watching or something, and maybe they're suffering really uh, challenging conditions, which is literally making them almost like trying to run away with whatever they can get, or literally sneak off without getting into too much trouble. It's just like, oh gosh, I'm painting too dark a picture here. Hopefully this will resonate with you. It's just like, hey, I love you. Hey, I love you. I love you so much. Yeah, like, oh, wait a minute. What's going on? Like, this is like, there's something that you're witnessing and seeing of yourself coming back from the other. And if they are like falling apart, falling to pieces, remember that you're part of the equation. Okay. And how that translates for you, I'm not sure. But if they're literally, you know, look at this in simple terms, if there is betrayal, lies, deception, pain, and heartache, are you the causal effect? Is it from their own self undoing? What is it? And it might be very difficult to figure out which. Some people, like, for example, here's an obvious example. Well, I was cheating. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's very, very miserable. But what do you expect? If you're all up there being awesome, what am I supposed to do about me? I'm just trying to have my life and get whatever I can out of us. Okay. So that's a very, pretty lame way to conduct a relationship. On the other hand, it could be like, do you have any idea how your own energy has made it impossible for me to be loving and happy because you have been the perpetrator? You have betrayed like your own light. Okay, so I'm not trying to point fingers at you or blame you, Pisces, but it's almost like there's too much to handle here. So let's stay positive because this makes you almost bulletproof. So let's stay positive here. And let's blame the planets, okay? And let's say whatever's going wrong is not you, it's somebody else. Gosh, I literally, hold on. Literally, Pisces, I'm kind of squirming here to try and bias the reading towards how it can work for you. But this is a lot of pressure, okay? That's what I'm sensing here. And it's so easy to blame, like, well, you messed me over. And then, well, it wouldn't have happened if you hadn't messed me over. And you can see how that just turns into an unsolvable situation. Okay, hold on. Let's go. All right, Pisces, let's keep going here. What about at the core? Okay, so with the Eight of Pentacles here, these are very measurable qualities in the relationship. It looks like you're becoming aware of the value of the relationship and the work that you've put into the relationship. Okay, remember, this is not a couples reading. It's all about you, but we're allowing for a significant other or certain significant others in your life, in your world, okay? Especially from that seventh house energy of marriage and open enemies, okay? So my feeling here is that you're realizing that you have a lot invested here and you've put a lot in, and you're discovering the cracks and the flaws. It's almost like discovering that you have something beautiful, you have something amazing, and you are amazing, but under so much pressure, you are discovering the cracks, okay? Let's just pretend this is a huge potted plant. You know, you have those huge potted plants like this pot is the size of a washing machine, or a tumble dryer or a dishwasher or something, and then they have a kind of tree coming out of it. To me, it feels like you're realizing how much you've got in this, the time and energy that you've put in, everything that's very, very measurable, and the long-term value of this, assuming that there's stuff here that's still good and worth salvaging. Okay, and then you realize, oh my gosh, it's going to take a lot of work to keep this thing going. Okay, so it's almost like you've come so far, you're under a lot of pressure. What now? What now? What now? What now? Big question marks, okay? That Virgo Pisces opposition over there, there's a tremendous amount of pressure coming at you from here. The question is, how does that read to you? What is the exact storyline? Okay? It's easier to see it like this, but really, I'm trying to do it in terms of mirrors so that it looks like this. And then you realize to me, it looks almost like in a very blunt, in your face kind of way. Like, I've got something awesome, or I did, and I'm still awesome, but there are some very serious problems here, but in the form of hairline cracks, okay? Not in your face, but very, very fine, but very, very definitive hairline cracks that have profound implications, okay? What is fostering here? So with the Four of Wands here, to me it looks like there's a lot at stake and there's a lot at jeopardy. Okay, it's uh, like to me it feels like, oh my gosh, we've put so much into this. I have so much. Like, you might have worked so hard, Pisces, because remember, Neptune in Pisces is a 14-year journey. We've had about 7 years, and there's another 7 years ago. So if you're radiating this light here right now, this is telling me that you've done huge amounts of work on yourself already. There's still a lot more to do. You're feeling the next levels of growth and pressure from around you that you weren't aware of before, but it's coming at you right now. To me, it feels as though you're starting to realize, almost in a sad, tragic, shocking, blunt, painful way, that all the good stuff that you have, the beautiful thing that you have with yourself and a significant other, like maybe you and a child, you and a spouse, you and a boyfriend, you and a girlfriend, you and a chosen dear friend or lover, this beautiful plant that you have of sharing and being shared, that can be good for you and the world and the community, to me it looks like it's in extreme jeopardy. In other words, my God, what if this thing does crack? What if the crucible does crack and the whole thing opens up? You've got a pile of dirt holding onto some roots and this beautiful thing. So what are you going to do then? Okay? To me, this looks very open-ended. And I don't think you're going to know what this really means except towards the end of the month, when everything goes into the Libra new moon in terms of relationship. I'll just show you. Okay? The new moon and Libras are there in your 8th house, deep shared resources. I think it's only going to come to full awareness about how serious this is, like especially if it's like a marriage partner and there's a lot at stake here in some way, shape, or form or another. Okay, let's keep going. I hope that makes sense to you in some way. I'm going to pull an oracle now. I'm going to pull a little romance angel card to see if this adds a little bit of color, a bit of texture. Cards were well shuffled in advance, but I go to the last second so that you're a witness, so that you have your own personalized card. There it is. And then I'm just going to simply read from the book. Okay, it says here, heart-to-heart conversations, okay? you could see the romance angels here, these two cherubs, are very, very clearly defined in the painting here. They're right here. They're right there. Okay? And there is you and a significant other, or there's you and a significant other. It says, honestly discuss your feelings with each other, especially if there is so much at stake here. Okay? Let's have a look. All right. Your love life needs a healthy infusion of honest communication, according to the romance angels. You've been harboring emotions that are masking your feelings of love. Okay? There's still time to heal the situation. However, it will require effort on your part. You may need to initiate an uncomfortable discussion and risk upsetting your partner, as if there weren't enough problems already. Hold on. In the end, though, this is a necessary move to ensure the ongoing health of your relationship. If necessary, schedule an appointment with a counselor to facilitate the discussion. Tarot elimination. This professional, tarot elimination, can steer the conversation away from blame and towards resolution. Okay, you can go to support groups. I'm not going to read that, okay? Whether you communicate with your partner alone or with a neutral third party, it's actually very rare, Pisces. Mostly I do one-on-one relationships, but I have had just a small handful of couples readings. It's very, very rare to actually get the couple to do this, okay? But it looks just like this when we're doing it, and then there's tarot illumination here, and there's you guys over there. Anyway, let's keep going. Whether you communicate with your partner alone or with a neutral third party, your heart-to-heart discussions will result in personal growth, okay? Remember that you can't control another's reactions. You can only be honest about how you feel and know what you will and will not accept in a relationship. People don't like to do that. A lot of people think relationships happen on autopilot once you've hooked up and everything goes biological and you're living through your passions and your hormones and your conditioning. Sorry, that's like a recipe for disaster. By sharing your feelings, you stand a much better chance of teaching your partner about your needs instead of suffering silently. Okay, I'm just going to put this aside. I'm not going to say anything more. You can reinterpret. I'm going to do Nature's Whispers now, okay? Because of the Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus energy, which is very much about nature. All that grounding earth energy. Again, cards are well shuffled in advance. Go to the last second simply so that you're a witness, okay? And then we'll get you your card. And then we're just going to read from the book. And that will hopefully bring you a little bit of color and, let's say, perspective to the reading in a fuller sense. Okay, here's your card. Let's just leave it like that. Here we go. It says, open your heart. If you're not, Pisces, you tend to be very open in those ways anyway, but because you're under so much pressure, you might be closing up your heart energy, okay? Even though you're radiating all this, it's so much pressure. This month is such a high pressure month for you. It could be like, it's almost like you're doing everything you can to shine and be your own most amazing self against huge amounts of opposition that put everything in jeopardy. And then the message is here to open your heart. So it means open up even more than you are already. Pisces, you can be so loving and so open, but it looks like the message is to go further here. Let me get the book. Hold on. So you can see from her, it's almost a very tragic energy. She's, first, let me find the, okay, hold on. You can see here from the image that it's almost like tragically beautiful, okay? Here she is, okay? Forget the gender, here you are. There's this beautiful swan energy about love and relationship in the purest form of relationship, and there is the faint outline of a significant other over there, okay? And like it's almost like a huge dreamscape. And the swan is another swan over here in the background. Let's have a look. It says here, this is nature's whispers, okay? The truth of our world, nature, and environment is love. This is eternal love that makes no demands, has no expectations, and does not place limits or conditions on us. There is an opportunity for each and every person to experience love at this deepest level if they are willing to be open. Love can and will flow into your heart, but only if you allow it. It will change your perception, nurture and hold you, and even give you the strength to endure hardship. Take a moment, open your heart, and allow love to bring you joy, serenity, renewed energy, passion, and total unrelenting happiness. Okay, it sounds easy for me to read this to you from the book, okay? Right? Simple is not easy. Doing I personally do a lot of self-healing exercises, which are all about every day, at least 5 days a week, getting back to the heart center, because so much of us live from our brain and our neck upwards. So I, I I don't have a formula for you. I don't have a recipe here for you, Pisces. I just hope you get enough out of this to make something of it, okay? Because it looks like a lot of pressure, a lot of opposition, and there's a lot at stake, okay? I'm going to check out with you. Take care, Pisces. Okay, this too shall pass. All right, you can grow and learn from this. Above all, love thyself. Okay, take care. All the best. Have a super September. Bye.